father is sex slave.
Why do I do a better black preacher voice than you?
Because technically you are black.
You child of God, sex slave.
So, Mr. Man,
Alrighty, this is
going to be a very, very special episode because
Yeah.
we are literally going to be introducing Jake and his testimony pretty much in all the details. You guys might have heard of it, basically sprinkled throughout all of our episodes so far, but I think I want this one to actually be centered around Jake's journey to faith. And man, without further ado, just give us an introduction of what we know and what we don't know.
cool.
Take it when you're ready.
Pretty much just a quick story of like everything.
Yeah,
like a little overview.
like who you are, like
Yep.
where you've come from,
Cool.
how you've come to this point,
faith
bro.
and- Yep. Alright. Yeah, long story short, born in Australia, raised here all my life. Parents were, my dad was kind of like a believer, but not really, like in the way that like he believes in God, but isn't like a practicing going to church and every day praying to God kind of
So
situation.
very lukewarm Christian.
Yeah, like he believes without putting it fully into practice.
Yeah.
I guess. And my mum just her whole own thing, maybe like manifestations and maybe new age spirituality. A lot of Tony Robbins.
Yes.
A lot of Tony Robbins without God being part of it.
Right.
So I knew nothing about Christianity and Jesus, maybe sung some things in primary school at Kaninja Bar down the road. And then pretty much my whole life was just pretty much my mum was got diagnosed with like a brain tumor when she was when I was really young, and so that was like a whole 15-year process of like in and out of hospitals, and that was like a whole thing. I played footy. There's not really a crazy childhood besides that. Like that's probably the big thing. And then she passed away when I was in like grade 12. So it was like from like childbirth to then she was like in and out of wheelchairs, sick, stuff like that. And then essentially we get to out of high school, and then I meet who is now my wife, and she was Christian when I first met her. And so I was confronted for the first time with religion and Christianity and God.
And what was your like first reaction to Jesus, Christianity, God when you first met her? Like what was your standpoint on it first?
It was honestly, my first thing I remember was like, how could we ever really know like if God exists and whether this is true?
So you never actually denied it. You were just agnostic.
Yeah, I would
Or were you more
say, yeah, I'd more denied it because there's no way of knowing.
Yeah.
So I was atheist, but atheist technically because I was like, there's no way of knowing. So I wouldn't have called myself an atheist. I guess I would have been agnostic because I was open enough to hearing about it, like in the way that like, obviously here I am, but just like I'm open to hearing about people's experiences and opinions and ideas. Like I think everyone should be in that way, open-minded. But I was like, yeah, like convince me. Like I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in God. There's no way of knowing. I was more like Rick and Morty, like infinite amount of universes. Like we're so small. We're like a speck of dust in the universe. I'm like, why are we coming up with these ideas thinking we're the center of it all? And so I was kind of like, you know, I'm
like multiverse theory type of thing.
Multiverse and like minimalistic, like, you know, minimalizing ourselves all the way down to nothing, to the point like, how could we know anything?
Yeah, it's funny because it's interesting enough because one of our friends, Sam, he actually has this theory that obviously he doesn't know that God exists, but he knows that the idea of how the universe began was all about trial and error, like things constantly mixing an infinite amount of times, infinite amount of possibilities, and our reality just happens to be it. But I guess what we've come to learn is that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, it's like either an infinite amount of time and possibility, or an infinite person or infinite being creating.
Yeah. It doesn't also answer the reason why it started doing that in the first place too, like why it started moving. But anyways, totally different topic. Keep going, Sir Jake.
So I was in that state. I didn't believe in any of it. I had every objection under the sun when it came to like the belief in a God in general. and then like whether that was like what religion was true, and even if it was possible that one of those religions could even be true, even if God was a personal God, let alone just the creator of everything and created everything. So it was a long journey. It took like a year and a half of like serious like questioning everything, the evidence for the Bible, the evidence like of like the universe around us and the reality we live in, my experiences, people's experiences themselves, like everything. I questioned everything. I was a massive skeptic. Yeah. Bro, the cat's here.
Cats, and then
The cats are crazy here.
and then I think shopping.
Go on.
Chaos is happening.
Chaos.
So you eventually ventured into Christianity, and why Christianity more than Islam, Buddhism, New Age spirituality? What kind of led you to be like, okay, Christianity is the real deal here? Because I know like your wife is obviously a big influence as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, my question is like, I guess like, how do you discern between your wife playing a very major impact or influence in your faith, so hence maybe manipulating you, or how do you discern that with you thinking that Christianity is the truth? Why not any other religion?
I'll give two things about this. One is that when I was first confronted with it, meaning that I'd met her, Bailey, who's now my wife, met her, and she was quite a strong believer. It was like we almost broke up. Like in the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we were literally like, we got to know each other, and we kind of fell very quickly in love and had a lot of feelings for each other, and actually like all of that. We literally had a moment where we both like broke down crying because we felt like this is supposed to work and this could work and be really beautiful, but I had a totally different set of values and beliefs, and so did she. And so there was a moment where we thought that was it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to break up completely. And so the reason that happened was because I wasn't willing to say that I was for sure going to become Christian. And I wasn't going to say that I believe in all of it quick enough for her to go down that route. And so I was like, if I'm going to come to this belief or this God, I've got to come through my own way. I got to come from my own personal experiences, personal relationship, personal findings, not her. Okay. And so right off the start, the biggest thing, everything wants to stop this podcast right now, bro. I swear. Everything wants to stop this podcast because we know how powerful this is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let this stop us. So there's like so many things going on in the background right now, which has never happened before. Just people, spirits trying to take it down. So the big thing I think is really important to understand, which was like from the beginning, I was like, I don't believe just because she was going to believe. And if anything, I pushed against it a lot, like heavily, kind of like you in a way, like, like I want my own personal development through this, or personal relationship and personal findings.
Yeah.
And so we almost broke up because of that off the start. So that was the building block of the relationship, was like, I'm going to find out for myself. Sure, I can ask questions from her, but everything she said, I questioned everything. And it was actually almost really destructive on our relationship. So
you coming into Christianity, like with that idea in mind, do you think it was more so you being scared of breaking up with her? It was more something genuine. There
was a faith that I was supposed to spend more time with her, and that it was supposed to be a big deal. Like there was this for some reason, like, I don't know, I just really deep down knew that this was supposed to be something that might actually work out and nurture. And so we came to an agreement that we wouldn't have sex. And that we wouldn't do anything like that, and that I would be respectful to her values. And this is coming from like someone that's like very, very dependent on like sex as a part of love and a part of intimacy and all this kind of stuff. So like that was like the agreement off the back, that I would respect that, and she would be like, cool, like, yeah. So it was difficult. It was really difficult. Like I had to sacrifice a lot of my own things just for the faith that maybe this is supposed to be what happens. And I had no idea whether it would or not. It's very interesting. It's a very like kind of all over the place like start.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
When I really think about it, but
that's one of the key differences between like how we both came to Christ. Is like with you, it was a lot of like logic, reason. Like you were resisting at some parts too.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was encounter.
Yeah.
In a way, which is very different. It's like a shock level.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear your point of view because you know, you were definitely like wrestling with the idea of God, weren't you?
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. And like to the point where like she, like in the early stages, I was open-minded enough to come just to church. And I went to church maybe like 5 times, 8 times during that point.
Yeah.
Hated every single time I went. Hated it. Got nothing from it. It actually pushed me further away from God.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, still to this day, gospel music is kind of lame. But I would definitely vibe with a black church. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Every time of the day, for sure.
So I think there was another part I wanted to answer was why Christianity?
Yes.
In the end. So essentially right off the start, within 2 months of after I met Bailey and being confronted with Christianity, essentially we've told this in our 3rd episode, but to put it through again, my partner Bailey prayed for me, and someone else who I knew that was Christian prayed for me to have God give me something of a dream, something tangible, because like the thing was I wasn't just going to believe in this without like experiencing something spiritual, like something really tangible about like this isn't just what we see, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I don't even at baseline believe there's a spiritual world. I believe just in the physical matter of this earth.
Like the sciences.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like,
everything's all in our minds.
I believe in what
synapses.
I see and what I can touch and what I can prove, right? Yeah. And so, and that's totally fair way of looking at life, because that just happens to be the way it is.
Yeah.
So, but she prayed for me and Katrina prayed for me, and long story short, they both prayed to Christ and God, right, being Christians.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later, and I didn't know they prayed for me. This is really important. I didn't know they prayed for me, so I had no idea. 3 days to 5 days later, very, very close after both of this happened, I find out after the dream, I asked them like about what happened, and they're like, oh, we actually both prayed for you about this. Wow. And so I found out after why. So 3-5 days before this, they prayed for me. I have this dream. The dream is like none other that I've ever had. It's the most demonic thing I've ever had in my life. I haven't had a dream like it before, and I haven't had one like that intensely demonic since after. It was like a big staple, like boop, right then. So long story short, I'm on the bed massaging Bailey. This is in the dream. I'm on the bed massaging Bailey, and her head, like in the dream, and is as real this conversation, right? Very vivid. Her head does a full 180 turn, so turns around like an owl. Her eyes roll into the back of her head, blood start coming out of her eyes, and her whole body starts disfiguring, cracking and breaking. All her bones start disfiguring. I freak out. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm actually freaking out. Like, I'm like that scared. I'm like, holy shit, like it's happening right in front of me, like someone that I like love and care for deeply, right? Then I look into the corner of the room, and there's a shadow in this corner of the room, and it's kind of like a jester, like dancing and like toying with me. And we kind of know this as Satan. I found out later, Satan's kind of like that. He's kind of like he toys with you.
Yeah.
So anyway, see that shadow. I, for some reason, instantly know that to be something demonic, something purely evil, like purely evil. Rushes at me in the dream. I wake up, and I've never had a night terror before in my life. And I'm like there, like frozen, stuck still, staring at the ceiling, like crying, tears just coming out of my eyes, like in complete terror. And I'm stuck and I can't breathe. I'm like that for like 5 minutes to 10 minutes. I don't know how long. I felt like forever. And so
there's a name for that. It's called sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis, yeah. And I've never had sleep paralysis before in my life. It's a name. This is the thing, like when we talk about all this stuff, is like there's names we've come up in the last 50 years about things that happen, but this is things that has been going on for centuries or thousands of years before it, right? And so it could be just sleep paralysis as like a scientific term, but it wasn't that because...
like what can you tell? Like, how do you know that was...
a demon.
Yeah.
So the first thing, there's 3 or 4 big reasons why I came to the conclusion that was seriously a demon. One was I hadn't had a dream like that before it ever, leading up to it. So 23 years of my life, nothing. And I've watched horror movies. I've watched some really terrible, like scary stuff that were like that bad, and never had like a real like demon.
What were your dreams before?
Before, I'd have things like, I don't know, like piranhas or snakes or some like, like really basic shit, but never like actually saw a demon.
Yeah.
Right. And I knew that to be demon because it had horns, and it was like a real basic, but it wasn't like, it was just a really disfigured like entity. You would say it was a shadow.
Sure.
It was a shadow, and I'd never had anything like that before. And then all of a sudden, boom, on that date. And then I've had some demonic stuff after, but I've never had a pure resemblance of a demon since. I've had like weird shit like after that, but pure resemblance. And then the other thing that was weird was I was in the best state of my life. Like, life was great. I had no worries. I was, as far as I was concerned at that point, like, you could say that like I might have had some internal fears or something, but I hadn't watched any horror movies in like a year or two. I didn't like this or that. And I know this because I was thinking about it intensely for like a day or two after, because I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, that was more vivid and more intense than when my mum passed away. And I watched her die in front of me, right? And so like that was a serious thing that happened. Still like haunts me to this day, just thinking about that kind of evil. And what happens though is when I woke up, to come back to it, was I couldn't get out of it. There's nothing I could do. I was just stuck there. I could have been stuck there forever as far as I'm concerned. And then and I thought I was. And then Bailey turned over and noticed, because she was sleeping next to me in the bed, and she prays for me, and she instantly knew like, oh, this is like a demon or demonic or something bad was going on. And she prayed in the name of Jesus for the demon to leave. I didn't believe in any of this at the time, right? And every time I heard the word Jesus, the spirit and the like night terror left. It just left more and more. Every time she said the word Jesus, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then I started saying it, and it fully left.
Yeah, wow.
And then I freed. And so that was weird. Because I'm in that state, I was like, I'll do anything to get out of that. I'd confess Jesus was Lord at that point. Like, it was that bad, even though I didn't believe it. And I just said the words like, Jesus help me, because I started feeling like a little free after every time I heard the word Jesus from her. She was praying for me, and then it left. And then I was like, what was that?
I know the feeling, because I've had sleep paralysis multiple times as well. The feeling of sleep paralysis is like you are kind of paralyzed in a way, shocked, but then you can't breathe is the one thing. It's like
massive pressure.
And then you're just hypersensitive. So like every single, it's kind of like you're a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
You're looking at like corners, thinking that something's going to pop out at you. You feel like there's something just watching you. And it's a very intense feeling. And I guess the way that I unlocked myself out of it was just like focusing on my breath. And my breath allows me to loosen up. And for you, it was Christ that kind of allowed you to free yourself.
And it was interesting too, because the first thoughts that were coming to me as soon as I woke up were demons are real, demons are real, demons are real. Like, that just played over and over and over in my head, which was even weirder because I didn't believe in any of that before this. So it was quite strange in that way. Like, why was it so specific? So anyway, so that, and then my conclusion from that was, okay, like, I didn't believe in God until like a year and a half after that, in Jesus specifically. But my first thoughts after that was, if something so demonic and so evil exists, that's like actually powerful, that has like that kind of control and that amount of power over someone, then the opposite good has to exist, because that's what we view in life. Contrast, an equal
there's no
opposite
light
force.
without dark.
Exactly.
No
There's
good without evil.
Exactly. Like, that's how we know life. That's how we know what is what, to distinguish and discern. But like, that was it. So that evil, what's the opposite good? Only God. Just the idea of God wasn't even, it was just like something like that has to exist. Whether it's an angel, call it God, whatever. I was like, okay, maybe God exists, because that was something messed up. It was so weird. Like,
how has that influenced your journey now, or coming into it? Like, tell us more about you.
So one more thing too is that I don't remember dreams. Like, the last time I remembered a dream before that was when I was like 15. So like 8 years later. 8 years later, this is the only dream I remember. And then from those points before, it was random. I don't remember dreams. I just don't. And then that was the only one I remembered. So like, it was really weird, weird, right? Unexplainable. So from there onwards, what happens? So it's a bit of a flash in the pan in the way that I guess that opened me up a lot more to the spiritual world. to the idea of God, to the idea of Jesus, to the idea of demons and angels, and the idea of
and for those who don't know, what are demons?
Yeah. So demons are fallen angels from heaven. Essentially, the story goes Satan was the appointed as one of the three top archangels that were created in heaven to look over the whole earth, and they all had their appointed things. So Satan being Lucifer being one of them, and Lucifer was the worship team, and so his pride essentially was like, I want to be better. I can do this better than God. And he whispered into all the ears of the angels. And long story short, we won't go through that whole thing. He sent down into earth, and he took a third of the angels with him, because he had essentially corrupted a third of the angels in heaven, saying that he can do this better than God. It's it's a very abstract idea. When I just say it like this, there's a lot more to it. But those are what demons are. They're fallen angels. And so that's why they have a certain level of power. They're not humans, but they're spirits, and that's why you can't even really see angels, but they manifest.
So that's interesting. So you explain Lucifer as someone who corrupted pure beings.
The angels,
And would you say in theory or in symbolically, demons corrupt people?
Yeah. So the reason demons are evil in the way that they are is because, look, evil really is just anything that isn't perfectly good.
Okay.
And the only thing that is perfectly good in this universe is God.
Cool.
And so that's a very controversial statement for a lot of people, but that's just the idea. So if you just take that for a second, you can understand that demons just want to essentially corrupt any idea, corrupt any pathway towards the highest good.
Is that sort of hence why you have that sort of guard up against other religions as well? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because anything that isn't orientated towards perfection itself is in self corrupted. So if your body is 99% healthy, but you have 1% corrupted disease in you, the whole body can die. The whole body can die.
Yeah.
So you might have 2 cells that are cancer cells, and over time, 20 years from now, you die. And those cancer cells spread and they grow. And so even 0.1% cancer cell in your entire system, and eventually you'll die. And so that's the same idea.
The saying of wages of sin are death, meaning that the consistent compound of evil or badness grows, births, conceives. Cool. Take us through more of your journey, man. How did it...
Where did that go from?
Where did that go from?
So that dream, and then from there onwards, literally, it's really, like I said, a flash in the pan. A lot happens, but ultimately all it was every day to second day, I was reading and studying and listening to podcasts about God. Just the idea of is it possible God exists? What are the arguments? What are the theoretical ideas? What is the philosophy of life around it? So I went really deep into theology and philosophy.
Yes.
But just listening to people talk about it, the experts, the people that are like the top of the world, just having podcasts back and forth. Jordan Peterson's, Alex O'Connor's, just really world-renowned people, John Lennox, all this stuff. And I just did that for a year, all the way up until I went to Bali, and where I gave my life. So that was a whole year of
was it in the cold plunge you gave your life, wasn't it? In the ice bath?
Plunge? No, just in a hot bath, actually.
Hot bath.
yeah, in a hot bath in Bali. Cool. Yeah, and so long story short, it was just a lot of rationality, and then also a lot of open-mindedness, meaning that when I had that dream, I was that opened me up to being okay, maybe I shouldn't be so naive.
How long ago was the dream to when you gave your life? How long
ago?
About
a year.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
About a year. Yeah. So that was maybe even longer. No, about a year actually. Would have been a year. So the thing about it was that in that time, it opened me up to being okay, I'll practice praying. I was like, okay, God, if you exist, show me the truth. No, don't be so naive and think that you are everything you've experienced and everything you know is the only thing that exists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
So he came in with a lot of humility and a lot of openness as
not
well.
at first, right? Like not at first, but then once I had that experience, the tangible experience, which like I believe that God actually showed me that demon, because here's the other thing I reconciled after was like, why did God show me a demon?
Yeah.
Why was it a demon and not just God? Why didn't God?
I'm going to
come
go into
me?
that in the next few questions pretty hardly.
Sure.
But yeah, take us, I guess now we've established you kind of encountering the spiritual in a sense. And you talk about your kind of discernment with other religions as well. Your path is kind of focused on.
Yeah, it was I listened to Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam. Like I went through like a lot of them, and just I went through the foundations of all of them.
And what parts of all these religions didn't you agree with, and why was Christianity the one
Yeah.
like, okay?
So at the start, I will say, because later on I come to deeper realizations, but at the start it was primarily that my experience was because of Jesus and Christianity, the God of Christianity. So it was only fair that I looked into that one the deepest first, right? Because the reason it even came about was because of that. So if I was like, it's like if you see Jesus in a bit like standing in front of you, like, okay, I'm going to look into Buddhism first, like it's a bit retarded, a bit weird to do that. So I looked into all of them. I was like, okay, here's all these ideas. I was like, okay, like I'm going to look into this first. And mainly because most of the debates, most of the people that were really having like super big debates in the Western civilization and that we have access to were all Christianity. It's Christianity versus atheists, Christianity versus agnostics, Christianity versus Islam, Christianity versus Buddhism, Christianity versus, right? So it was always a Christianity God in it. So I just like Jordan Peterson, follower of the God, like he doesn't follow God, but like he talks so much about the Bible. So
as a symbolic representation, doesn't he?
We live in a Christian society. We live in a Christian culture. And so that's another big part of it, of course. So that's the one that I wrestled with the most and I just was questioning the most.
Do you think it would have been different if you were to be raised in like an Eastern household?
Exactly. This is the question, right? I think so. Like we are definitely massively influenced by our environment, for sure.
Okay.
Our environment plays a big part in who we become and what we believe. Like Jake in Japan and Jake in Northern Alaska, two very different people.
Jake would have been a chef.
Yeah. Yeah.
A miso soup chef.
Exactly.
Anyways, cool, man. So you've now discerned between the relationship between, I guess your discernment between all these other religions and God. Okay, cool. Take us through how that relationship has blossomed, or take us through what has God kind of showed you, taught you, what you've had to let go, surrender, anything you want.
So this is, I reckon, the thing that actually stopped me from coming to God maybe sooner / with more conviction and more faith maybe and stronger was the worry of being completely wrong. And also the persecution because of that from friends, because my entire like, it's funny because like I go to Bali and then I'm gone for like 8 months from Australia for the first time in my life, and so like I actually didn't have my friends and everyone around me. So it was actually like this, like I had like 6 months to grow my faith with God before coming back to being persecuted and questioned about it.
Interesting.
So a big thing for me was what I had to learn was I mean, it's kind of the big thing I think for everyone in their relationship and walk with God is
the mockery,
denying your own life. It's submitting your own life to God, meaning that even if you are persecuted, like it actually doesn't matter, weirdly enough, like because it's not your life anymore.
It's funny. Scientifically as well, it's not actually the persecution or the death which a lot of people are kind of scared of. It's actually the humiliation, the mockery. That comes with it too. Because that takes like the mental attack. It's not the physical. In a way.
So like I was afraid I was going to lose all my friends. I was afraid I was going to lose you. I was afraid. I like when I gave my life to God, at that point I was 80% convinced, and what I mean by that was you're never going to be 100% certain. Just to give everyone that, like, no one is 100% certain. is that he exists, even if he's almost standing right in front of you. Like, you're not 100% certain with almost anything in your life to some degree, you know, but at the same time, like I'd looked into so much evidence for the Bible, for philosophy, for the theological arguments for existence of God, the archaeological evidence for the Bible, what backs it up. I read through like so much of the New Testament.
Yep.
I'd prayed, I'd practiced all these, like I did so much for a year, like really actually gave it a go. Like I didn't I wasn't one of those people like, I don't care. Like I like, if God exists, like that's the biggest thing. It changes everything.
Yeah.
It changes everything you know that is true. It changes the whole foundation of your existence.
Yeah.
So really important to know. And so I was 80% of the way there, and I handed it over. And so the biggest thing I had to learn that was off the start was faith. What does faith even mean? I didn't know what that meant. I'd never experienced anything.
It's ultimately surrender, isn't it?
It's surrender. Yeah. It's also trust.
I feel like it would be hard for you because, you know, in your business you've had to be kind of like the leader, stoic in a way. It's very what was it? Strong-minded, driven.
Yep.
And I guess it is a very different experience to kind of let your guard down in a way.
Yep.
And kind of let something else grow into it.
Dictate and
So what was that? Yeah, what was that journey like and what was the hardest thing that you had to hand over to God that you couldn't do at first?
I think it comes down to the foundation, because we got so many sections of our life: money, relationship, health, all of it. Like we got so many sections of life. And so the fundamental like identity of who I was as a person, I think is the biggest handover. It's one that still is a constant handover till today.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that,
so you still struggle with control.
well, it's like the reason and the logic and the brain wants to rationalize and have control over everything.
Yeah.
Like we wanna know and understand it all, but we just can't. We can't comprehend and understand it all. And so that part is this like, I don't know, what part would you say that is? That's the part of me that wants to be sure. That's the part of my identity that wants to know that I'm going to be successful. The part that knows I can't fail. But that itself is this part of the control that we can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's like we're trying to grab something that we can't control or can't know. And so that causes a lot of issues in your life. A lot of false expectations, false hopes, false premises, false foundations.
And
false
it was one of the
beliefs.
biggest things that you kind of had to let go was anxiety as well. And
That
kind
was
of
it.
birthed from it.
And that's where the anxiety came from, was this want to control and understand, this want to know, but we can't. And so this is where like the practice of faith, submitting, trust, ultimately in your life path is like, it's everything.
I guess this kind of leads me into my very hard questions here. So obviously now like you're talking about your discernment into Christianity, but let's just talk about the demons for a second, how you came into it. So do you ever think of the foundation of your faith is just a reaction to fear of demons or death, or fear of losing favor from God? Like, what's the foundation of why you
believe in God?
Yeah, like your faith.
I think the foundation itself is actually, I would honestly say that it's the hope that life has meaning, like the highest amount of meaning and purpose and beauty possible. Like, I think we all hope for that. Like, if this just all randomly happened, there is no meaning, it's all abstract, it's all subjective. You create your own, hell or heaven of this earth. But ultimately that there is a real serious possibility of there being an ultimate meaning, purpose, and beauty in life. And that there's an antidote to the suffering and pain, and that, that all of this happened for a specific, intention, and it's not just random, and you're not just here to live and then die. Like that there is like a hope that there is like something that pulls all of this together that makes life beautiful. Like just beautiful. Like every second, no matter what you're going through, there's beauty in it, which is like, to have a philosophy like that, I wanted that to be true. And I think we all do. I think we all do, right? Like that's a given. Like we all hope for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't mean that when you find something that brings that beauty, that doesn't make it true, but rather that when I heard about the ideas of what meaning and purpose like ultimately needs to come from, like you can't have meaning and purpose that's, real and beautiful, ultimately, like actually beautiful, not subjectively created. Like I believe this glass is beautiful, but you think it's ugly. Like we can all create our own subjective beauty, but like an ultimate beauty on how we live life and know that we're doing that, not just because we say so, like that we can know what is beautiful and what is true and has meaning.
I think I can summarize what you're trying to say. It's like you have this great appreciation for an objective bedrock truth than I would say like more of a personal subjective truth.
Yeah.
Because we both know, we both come to realize that like while subjective truth it plays an important part, it also can lead into a distortion of truth itself.
Exactly.
Whereas a bedrock truth is certain.
It's
like
universal.
it's not about you.
Exactly. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's not about you. Cool. Yeah. So that's what I believe that my faith wanted to be built on.
Is truth.
And so there's nothing more beautifully true than the life, the death, and the resurrection of Christ.
Yeah. So you would say that it's not necessarily like a grasp for control. It's more so a grasp for what's right. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I'd say it's more a grasp for the good, the good, not just for me, but ultimately like everything, like my relationship with my family, my dad, my wife, you, me, my friends, my money, my health, my body, my life, my direction, my purpose, all of it. Like, because you can find a truth that might be true for your money, but not true for your relationships. So what brings life to everything in your life, not just one section, and then subject something else, like people like money grind, but then their love, their relationship, their health, everything else goes down, but they got money. So like, what's the purpose then? Life is just money. The only thing that gives life to everything at one time through one seeking and one like focusing your eye on one thing, because if you focus just your eye on money or just your focus on relationship, everything else dies, because one doesn't give life to the other. Is God. Like that's what I found out.
So how would you conclude, like what have you had to hand over in
what
one
did that
word?
actually come to, right? So when I gave my life in Bali, the first thing God taught me was when we went from Bali, I was like really handing over, just reading more, just learning still. Like I didn't really understand a lot. There was a faith of knowing that this is true, because there's so much beauty in it. It's so profound when you read the words of Christ. You don't just get all these misconceptions about, repent, you're a sinner. Like, like actually read what Jesus talked about,
And what did you hand over?
And so what God taught me first was when I got to Bulgaria, this has been like a 5-year journey. I've been training and coaching and saving up money and doing all these things to get to Bulgaria to train the world's best. This is it. This is like my life's purpose almost. I was getting there, but I'd just given my life to God. So you get to Bulgaria, I'm training with the world's best and having a great time. But when I was there, every day I prayed to God. He said, rest, 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 rest. One word for 3 to 5 months. It was crazy, and it really rocked me. And he just said rest, 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 rest. And so my business went down 40%. I let go of my identity as a calisthenics athlete. I submitted all these factions of my life. I didn't like my value and my success as a person didn't come from how good of a as good of a relationship I had, how well I treated my wife. It didn't come from being a calisthenics athlete, how strong I was, or how much money I was making, how well my business was doing. I had to submit everything. And so that was the thing he taught me most, which is to get rid of my identity and how like my value and identity as a person was in all these things, which is worshiping like everything, into like, I'm a child of God. I'm a man of God. What does God tell me that I am? Not that I think I am, or that the world dictates I am, or that my bank account dictates how I am. Like, you know, like I look at my bank account and I was like, oh man, like I'm losing money. Like, oh, I feel shit. Like my identity, like I'm not successful.
Yep.
Like I'm failing.
So there were doubts still coming out as well.
So many doubts. It was so difficult. And so that was a massive handover, and that went every area of my life. It wasn't just money. It was every area of my life I had to hand over, and I had to like come underneath the foundation of everything I believed about everything in my life, and then go into the Word of God and seek God in all of it, and then that's where it all came from. And then now, like I can tell you what happened from that. But go on.
But I guess it leads into this question perfectly. Is like, if God asked you to fully step away from calisthenics completely, such as your identity, such as your income, your platform, would you obey without negotiation?
You know, it's funny, bro. This has been the question since I gave my life to God. I like, if I was going to do this, I was going to do it. And so I seeked him. He never told me to give it up, but he told me not to worship it. Meaning that he said to me one day, and I heard it as like a clear voice too. He was like, I'm going to utilize your business, but it won't be the end all be all. So he was going to utilize it to help me get through to what he has. He's going to utilize it to bless me in a way so I can provide financially for myself and live and do these things. But it's a stepping stone.
Cool.
And I actually believe that, but I actually believe I'm always going to coach. I believe that it's a good thing, and it's beautiful, and it's great, and all these things, and people love it, and you know, it serves a thing, but that's not the ultimate calling though. It's a tool. It's not who I am anymore. I literally had this realization the other day, and this might be crazy for some people to hear, but every person I've ever said, I was like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be one of the world's best athletes. I literally the other day, like on the Saturday, it's yesterday, I was like to one guy, just a random guy I met for the first time. I was like, you know, usually I would say I'd want to be the world's best athlete, but I'm kind of just letting it be. Like, I'm not sure if I want to be the world's best athlete anymore. I think I might just, like, you know, I'll train, I'll get good, but like, it's okay if I don't become the world's best, you know, just, you know, maybe one day.
Some people will call that like a fire being put out. How would you defend that?
I'd say that my fire is in a different spot.
It's being lit up by something else.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome, man. Really, really good. And yeah, man, just take us through, I guess, so you blossomed your relationship, you gave your life in Bali. You discovered all these things about handing over, I guess, everything, your life, essentially, control. What has that handing over looked like in terms of relationships, income, like
practically?
Yeah, play us out like how it's kind of evolved from Bali through to now, just in a very quick way, or however you want.
Practically speaking, I was the person who, if I wasn't productive and doing something, like quite literally productive, texting people, doing sales calls, or like literally doing things, my life didn't have purpose. So it was like my life's purpose was to work, and that was it. And it was false sense of security, because it meant if I had spent 10 hours on my laptop that day, that meant it was a good day. If I hadn't, and I just relaxed and just spent time with Bailey, it didn't have as much purpose.
Yeah, right. So you've now, and so what's the realization now?
It means that my identity, what is fulfillment, what it means that like where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know, like how can we know that? It's one of the questions. Like, how can you ultimately know only for yourself where you're supposed to be and do what you're supposed to do. When you make all the mistakes in the world, you have false expectations. You don't know the future. Like, you don't know how all these, like, you know, like, you don't know how anything's going to play out ultimately, like 6 months from now. You got no idea. Like, life, like, so many things happen in your life. How are you going to really plan everything out? Like, it never goes perfectly to plan. We all get that. But ultimately, the practical was submitting all of that over, was being like, I don't know. I let go of knowing. And then therefore I also knew that God asks us as a relationship that our life be built off our relationship with God and who we are as as humans, right? With God, and not off our money, not off all these things. And so what I had to do was learn to submit all of it, meaning that my energy, my time, and my focus was on God more than everything else in my life.
And the way that you kind of submit everything and follow God's path, is that through religion? Or how
that's, I would say it was through prayer time. It was through prayer. It was through like giving like gratitude and thank you for everything in my, like the simple things in life, the things that God gives us. And even the money I was making and where I was and my, you know, my engagement, all this kind of stuff. But then
a big thing you talked about too, that I guess a lot of people don't know, is controlling your lust.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. That's a whole thing. That's a really big one. The other thing I was going to say was just reading the Bible, was just reading the Word, and focus towards what it meant to follow God, and just like trying to live that out best you can. If you do it through faith and you believe, you know, He will guide your ways. He will make your path straight. That's what it says. Lust was a big one. Oh my God, where do I even start with that?
Start us through, if you like, with
where it all came from.
Your relationships, stemming from maybe from your mother to your previous girlfriends to Bailey.
Take us through it. I think I'll start with like every guy started watching porn from like some people 12. I was maybe 15. I started watching porn, and I think I just start there and just be like, I was watching porn like, you know, almost every day for like, it must have been almost 9 years up to that point. Not every day, like, you know, like 3 times a week. I don't know, 4 times a week. It was really bad. I was sexualizing women and living a hedonistic framework and dopamine, just self-gratification for 8 years of my life, and didn't think anything of it. And it was really bad. It was really evil. And I'd watch some really bad stuff because the internet's just there. Your curiosity peaks. Once you've been watching it for like 6 months, a year, you're like, oh, what else can I watch? Like, what else can
your brain wires around that, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's like the same thing with money. It's like the same thing with like alcohol. You have 1 drink and you get really drunk, and then you need 2 the next time. Then you need 2.5. Then you need 3. Then you need 3.5. It's the same thing with money. Then once you got 1,000, then you need 10. Then you need 100. Then you million. It's the same thing with everything. Same thing with porn. Everyone gets that. Like then you get like kinky. You start trying different things just because. To get the same level of dopamine spike hit, you need to up the ante so it's new and exciting. And this is super evil in life. This is like one of the I think this is one of the biggest things. It's greed is what it is. It's actually greed.
It's a whole saying as well. It's like in relationships, people always say, look for the spark. Like you have to always reinvigorate the spark. But that is more so like you're tempting the lust.
It's hedonism. And this is why relationships don't last. And this is why people in life become so depressed, because they're just trying to get the next best thing and trying to always up the ante.
And take us through how that played out personally for you in relationships.
So for my first relationship, what I thought was built on love, because I used to say, oh, I love you. I didn't really know what that meant because I didn't know who God was, right? God being love. But I just, love was like lust. It was sex. Like the desire, the passion that comes. The spark, the desire, the passion that comes from that is love. And that only came through sex. And so that whole relationship was sex. That was just lust. We didn't even do it that much, but that's the only reason I was really with her, which is really messed up. So that was that first relationship, 2 years. And then the next relationship, we had even more sex, and so that was even better, right? And so, but that was even more wrong. It was just only lust. The whole relationship was pure lust.
Dude, I remember like when you were in that age as well, you were going at it like jackrabbits, and it was like I won't get personal, but you had to actually have surgery.
Oh yeah.
Because you were just having.
We won't go into that. Because like I have a wife now, right? But I had to get circumcised. because
Just how
because of
bad it
that.
got.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's
I'm just
funny.
saying it's the physical effect of lust. Isn't
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the mental thing of it was an unhealthy relationship, toxicity.
Yeah.
It conceived death. It wasn't good. It wasn't good for her. It wasn't good for me. She just viewed herself as a sex object. Like women. I mean, that's the other thing these days. Like, it's not just about us. Like, women get seriously, like believe that their only value is whether they get attention from guys, and attention from guys is getting their boobs and asses out.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all they are. They're just
It's the whole lie. It's like men fall in love with what they see, women fall in love with what they hear.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that was lust, and that was porn. That's what porn did, and that was bad. It was really bad. And mind you, watching, yeah, we won't get into that. Yeah, but go on.
Yeah.
If you got deeper questions with that.
No, just take us through how you came to overcome lust.
Yeah. So that was part of the handing over of every area of my life, right? Porn, money, or everything.
So what did that look like practically when you handed over
So
your lust?
I knew it wasn't right before giving my life, but once I gave my life, I was like, okay, maybe I need to take this seriously, because I just gave my life to God. Like, I know what that means too. I knew what that meant to confess that faith. A lot of people don't at the start. They'll say, I confess, Lord, like, please help save me. But they don't actually know anything about the Bible or anything. And I knew a lot at that point. I talked to Christians a lot, and I had, a partner was Christian. So like I'd learned a lot, and I knew one of the verses that says that our standard of cheating is physical cheating. But the standard that we have is like, you can watch porn and still have a partner and it not be considered cheating. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit. I think it's so disgusting. So disgusting where, you know,
Like, I agree with that.
And I don't think many people disagree with it, but it's got like, demons in the spiritual world have really got a handle on people with this. But like, I think it's such a big issue, porn these days. Like 95% of men watch it. And even 50% of men watch it that are like Christian men still watch it and don't have a problem with it. It's bad. It's really bad. Like, even like, man, if you're still watching porn as a Christian, you've got to really get into your word, and you gotta seek God. Like, bad. Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's really bad. It's such an obvious one, because Jesus
especially
says,
if you're with a partner too.
Yes.
Especially.
Yeah. But Jesus says, he says, you have heard, like on the Sermon on the Mount, you have heard that is said, do not commit adultery, which means to cheat on someone, right? But I tell you, whoever looks at a woman with lust has committed adultery against, oh God, I memorized this. You've heard it said, do not commit adultery, but I tell you, anyone who commits adultery, whoever looks at a woman with lust has committed adultery with her in his heart. Yeah. Meaning that if you look at a woman and you have lustful thoughts, or even have a desire on that woman at all, you've committed adultery and cheated on who you're with in your heart.
Yeah.
I think that's worse than if you actually cheated.
Because it's true. Because it's like, it is sneaky in a sense too. And it's like, while people don't realize that it's an issue just yet, watch what it conceives. Like, as Pastor Noah said, sin conceives.
Yeah.
And so that's just going to get worse.
Our decisions have outcomes.
Yeah.
And so, like, I knew that from that point, and it wasn't a straight shout. So what happened was, I stopped watching it. Me and Bailey, we struggled with trying to stop as well, because we lived together, and we shout, like, it was really,
that would be harder for sure.
Really hard. So like, that was a whole process. We went on, like, we stopped for a while for like 3 months, and then we did oral, and then like, and then we had like this, then we didn't do it for 4 weeks, then we did it, then we didn't do it for 4 weeks. And so it was a very long like thing with that.
So that was definitely a big one for sure.
Fought between us. And then with porn, I stopped for a long time, and then do like, I get a moment alone when she's not in the house, and do this thing come over me. It was like I had no control, even though I knew in my heart I was cheating on my wife when I did it. Yeah, and yet something came over me and was like, do it. And it had been 4 weeks, no desire. All of a sudden, boom, it comes over me. And it was like, I got pulled and I did it. And I had so much shame. Yeah. So much shame, and I repented, and I went through the whole thing again.
Can I ask a very personal question?
This happened a lot, yeah.
This certain perspective or stigma around women that you had, did that come around because you had that relationship with your mother, which was you had to take care of her, so you didn't really feel that
Love.
love.
I would say that in every case, the seeking that sex, because a lot of people only like the only way they know how to get love is what they think is love is through sex, because we know love to be conditional. So the only place to get it realistically, like full attention, full gratification, out of body experience, love, is through handing over your body to someone else. And like, you know what I mean? Like that's how we knew that to be. And so for me, that's the only way I knew. And so, yeah, I had a block from love and affection because I knew my mum was going to die. So there was some kind of unconscious block of receiving love from my mum, or maybe my entire life. I don't know, maybe up to a certain point. But leading into my relationships, that's the only way I knew how to get love. And I even knew my relationships weren't going to last forever. Like I knew that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 So the pattern of like knowing that your mum was going to die was also knowing that this relationship is not going to last. Wow.
Yeah. So I was just getting,
Yeah.
I was getting what I could from it as well. And
That's heavy.
yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was that fleeting love. But now, and I mean, that's kind of to some extent what we have now, but like, God being the eternal, unconditional love, it's I know love to be something very different, very different. And now I can give unconditional love because I receive unconditional love, and love isn't just sex. Like it's so much more, so much more than that. Like it's like it says in the Bible, Jesus says, there is no better love than this, that a friend lays down his life for another friend. Complete sacrifice. That's love. Lay down your life for someone. And that's kind of what a marriage is. Death to us part, right? In health and sickness. Like no matter what happens, I'm going to be there for you, and I'm going to give my best and sacrifice everything I have for you. And you're going to do the same for me. And if we can set that relationship up and do it that way, so it's unconditional. So if you don't love me, I still love you. And then therefore we can keep this love and keep this relationship healthy, then that's the way to do it. But if people don't have God, they don't know what unconditional love is. They don't get it. Yeah. And so therefore your relationship is conditional. To some degree, that's true.
I think I'm understanding it now because, that makes so much sense. Just because you've been like with your mother as well. Like I know that she passed away, but I didn't really know the full details about it and where it kind of stemmed from. Now I kind of feel like I definitely see where it does come from. But I also feel like you definitely have, because you don't blame your mum or the circumstance at all, don't you?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No, she did the best what she could.
Yeah.
Like she went through it. And, yeah.
Because I feel like now, like you've somewhat, would you say you've reconciled it? Would you say you've gone through it and felt it? Or?
I'd say so. Like my reconciliation for it realistically was just knowing that she'd lay down her life for me, and then therefore I've got to make the most of my life. Wow. So I wasn't like making the most of my life means that what she went through, the pain, the suffering, like she was in like chemotherapy, she was sick for 7 years, like in and out of wheelchairs, having to learn how to speak again, surgeries, like not being looked after even herself, let alone her son. Like you could imagine that, like serious, like that was 15 years of that. Like it's difficult, right? Pretty intense. And but she still saw beauty in life, even regardless of that. Like she had a better mindset on life than most people do when they've got everything. It's crazy, right? Like it's just ridiculous. But so I got all that. I got this perspective of life life is good. Like people complain all about all this little petty shit. Like you're just like, bro, like get some perspective, man. Like some people have gone through some seriously bad like spots in their life, and you're complaining about that. Like like who are you?
I get it.
Like even in the senses like and every sense like everything is just like you could lose your arm and then someone could be born with no legs. You see, there's always something to be grateful for, and that's a weird thing about like as well having like God is like that's true.
And one last question about your mother, and then it stops here. When you pray, do you cry with God about her, or do you only perform faith to hand it over, meaning to avoid it?
That's when one of the hardest things for me sometimes with God is this like emotional, like actually feeling with God, and not just like, because I'm the logical. I was like, I came through God through logical and rationality more than emotion. However, once I actually handed over, I actually started to feel more, which is funny.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Tell us what that transition feels like.
it was like, well, it's like what we said. Our whole life is dependent on us. So it's like the same thing with everyone. Like we must become independent, we're told. Like we can't be dependent on our father, on our friends, on anyone. We must be completely independent, because that's the way then you can have full control of your life, and then your love comes from yourself, money comes from yourself, help comes from yourself. Everything is about self. And that's what it was. And so I had to be strong. Everyone has to be strong. I mean, like, that's true. Like, that is true. But the issue is that, like, yeah, right.
I understand it now. Yeah.
Right,
Wow.
right.
Yeah,
So,
keep going.
yeah. So, we all push it down, because we got to keep trudging on with life, and we only rely on ourselves, and we never have anything to surrender to. We never have anything to submit to or trust. We trust ourselves. We have faith in ourselves. There is no surrender. It's just always shield and sword. And so once I actually...
You always have that guard up.
Always, because who's going to look after me?
Yeah.
My dad moved to America. I'm here on my own. No family here. I got family in Sydney. I'm here on my own. I've had some friends which I could rely on, but ultimately you still don't, because, don't trust anyone, because we all fall short of the glory of God. So how can we trust everyone that makes mistakes all the time? So the best cause is us, and then we make the most amount of mistakes. We have the highest ego for our own ego. We have the highest biases about ourselves and our own lives. So it's just one of those really weird scenarios that, like, God is the only way out, I realize. But
do you feel like in saying all that,
Yeah.
where you had to actually be independent, where you actually had to, go through these things with your mother? Sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously you face these things with like your father being independent. Is God sort of compensating as a father for you?
I mean,
or as a parent for you?
Your mum and dad do the best they can, right? That's how we always see our mum and dad. Sometimes they do a really bad job. Sometimes they do the best they can. And mine did the best they could. And they made mistakes all the time. They're human. So I don't put any unforgiveness on the things that they messed up and they could have done better. But God is the father that we all wish we could have. And that's just the case, like, generically speaking. Like, he's the guidance. He's the trust, the respect that we had when we were like 3 years old or 5 years old towards our parents and our mums and dads. We're like, oh, we trust them because they're infinitely more wise than us at that point. Like, we know nothing about the world.
Yeah.
And then we get older and then we realize, oh, they're kind of dumb.
Yeah.
They kind of make mistakes everywhere. Yeah. They did this wrong. They do this wrong. They do this wrong. Why aren't they doing this?
What is an adult?
Yeah, literally. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Like,
adults are just kids with more expensive toys.
Like even Andrew Tate, for that instance, or Trump, or anyone that has immense amount of power and so much wisdom, or doing all these things right in all these areas, they still fall short in so many.
Yeah.
So many. And I think that's the realization. Same thing with us. So yeah, God was the father that I had when I was 5 to like 7, 5 to 10. Like, wow, like, you're so amazing. Like,
So it was the first time where you actually had to realize you're still a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all put this mask on thinking we have it all figured out. We're independent.
Yep.
We put this mask on. That's what it is. But realistically, we're all children that still are learning and really never have it fully figured out to some extent.
Cool. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. That was awesome. I love that. That was really, really cool. I got to learn more about you, actually. That was sick.
That's cool.
So, yeah. You've obviously, you've gone through this.
I see why you did AI, because we've known each other for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so you passed through the lust phase. We know where it sort of stems from. Tell us through, I guess, the positives and how it's kind of transformed and sort of flipped your worldview.
Yep. I'm really excited to share this. Where do I start with this? Because this is the thing. This is the reason why I believe.
Whatever feels natural to you.
Yeah.
Personally, and go personal. Don't go wide. Go personal.
This is okay. So I thought like, and this is what we both realized, right? Like after like real faith and real giving it time and trust, was that our entire lives were actually way less fruitful and way less beautiful than it could ever have been. I thought this is another reason why I denied God, was like, I don't need God. My life is good. Like I'm living good. I got a
100K in the bank.
Yeah, I'm making good money. I'm
Yeah.
doing this. I'm doing what I love. Like I've got no like traumas. Like I'm just living life, bro. Like leave me alone. I don't need God. My realization after, like, if I look back at it now, was that my entire understanding of everything and where everything came from as a source of like why I did everything and every like all that was so shallow.
It's like the void. It's like the chain, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I got freed. He says, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. And I didn't know I was enslaved. And I don't think anyone does until they actually experience what it means to have life. Because they don't, like, you think you're living while you're alive, but actually you're dead.
Yeah.
That's what it literally says in Romans. You're literally dead. And so
Take us through it.
I was literally dead. And so what that really looked like, the biggest things that changed was my entire life, every thought, every decision, every action, everything of my life came from a place of uncertainty and therefore fear. Everything. And I trained because I was afraid of not being strong and afraid of not making the most of my life and afraid of not proving to my dad that I could be something. I made money because I was afraid of afraid of being looked down upon by my family. I was afraid of not making the most of my life because of my mum's passing away. Living up to the expectations of this world, of society, of my friends, even you, right? Like the standards of you, like, yeah, bro, look how much money I made, bro. Like, look at my crypto, like, like that. And that made me feel good. Like you're like, so like everything was from a lack of not being enough, really. And I think that's the fundamental of everyone, why we do everything. If it's like not being enough, it's like not having enough happiness in our life, not having enough gratefulness, living to the best standards, not living our best life, like whatever that is, it's not enough of something. And that's a fear of not having enough in whatever you're putting your worship in, whatever you're putting at the highest, like money, status, respect, like all of it. Like, so that was me. And that was all fear. So everything was from fear. And what that did was my entire life, my brain was on hyper mode. I was like, every day, I didn't know it in the moment. I literally did not know it. And maybe I had moments that were more intense than others, but in the moment I was like on like 10x, like my brain wouldn't stop. I was juggling 20 things at once. I was juggling my relationships. I was juggling how am I going to train, the best way to train, my money, all the parts of my business, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts of my business, then my relationship with my dad, my relationship with you, my directional path, my status at home with Lachlan, like my family, like you once you just keep piling on, that's what was going in my head all the time. And it was all the fear of every single, like trying to like work out every single thing all the time. And you could imagine that every day. Like I'd do ice baths, I'd do saunas, I would row, I would train, I would do this. It was all discipline to like center myself through the disciplining of like trying to have it all together. Because if I wasn't disciplined, I wasn't going to be able to hold the world together.
Wow.
But the whole world was on my shoulders because of that.
Oh, yeah. I get it.
Like
I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Wow. I get it.
I could not have imagined doing that my entire life.
Yeah.
Like my life now, I didn't think this was like, I thought that was everybody too. I thought everyone was like that. Some people aren't. I think most are in the Western civilization, the grind, the hustle mode, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was just normal. But I had anxiety. And I went through like higher moments of anxiety than others. But then I come down to base level, and my base level was here. And then bad was here, but my base level was here, and now I'm like here.
Beautiful.
And so my
So tell us more, man. That's awesome. But tell us like your transformation, like as in like what did you feel when you first started letting go and first started surrendering, handing it over?
The anxiety went up more.
Oh yeah, let's go. Okay.
So like I give my life, and I'm like cool. And my anxiety went up more because so it's like this whole thing of like, you think once you have all this money, or you have this girl, or you've done this thing, or you know whatever,
Travel the world.
You think once you've done this, then you're good, and everything like this pressure or this anxiety or this lack of or whatever it is, like your idea of whatever you think it is, that'll be it. But there's this hole in you that will never be filled. And so I got to Bali, and I was I was making 3K a week. I was killing it. I was doing what I love. I was traveling the world. I had like full freedom, locational freedom, time freedom. Like, oh whoa, like holy shit. And then I gave my life. But the issue was my anxiety actually started going up when that happened, because the more money you have, the more you can lose. Now I had everything. Now I can lose everything.
Wow, that is a big realization. Actually.
It's what Katrina had talked to me before, was that like she'd made like $25 million online, and she said that like nothing changed from like the stress levels actually get more when you become higher entrepreneurial more, because you have more to lose. Now you're afraid of losing instead of not having.
I never thought of it like that. Yeah, I get it.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I get it. I can understand it.
The pressure actually went up because we always think of things as incremental progressing, and that's how we know things are doing well. Like, I'm making more money slowly. But once you hit like the high top, then you start going backwards. Then the anxiety starts going up and up and up, because what do we do? Our lifestyle increases in wage, and then you got to handing over everything again. You got to stop spending less. You're going to stop doing this and stop doing that, and you start just.
So very sneaky, isn't it? Yeah, that's interesting.
It's false. It's a false sense of security.
Yeah.
You think now that you have, you're good, but you could lose it.
Wow, that's incredible.
Because you know you will. Not everything stays. Life is this. It never stops. You're going to go up, down, roller coaster.
Fuck. Okay, bombshell. That was awesome.
Yeah, if you don't realize that at this point, you will at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you already have.
It's actually a blessing that you actually had to experience that early now.
100%.
So when money does come, when you are a millionaire, 25 millionaire, now your identity is not latched onto another zero.
Exactly.
It's latched onto your identity with God. How good is that, man? That's awesome.
I'm awesome. So grateful for it. Yeah. I'm glad I went through it. Like I'll go into a cool story. So through there, like I handed over money. Let's just put money in business for like, because everyone can relate to money, right? Yeah. So I handed it all over, and my business goes down 40-50%. I doubled my clients in Bali before meeting God, and then I go to God and my business goes down 50%. And like, that's bad. Like, I'm traveling the world, I'm paying for everything. Yeah. Anxiety shoots through the roof, bro. I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough money to get to the next place.
Yeah, the places you were going to, Switzerland,
Madrid, Rome, Paris. Like, I was doing it all, and I was like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough money, babe, to get back home. Yeah. Like, I thought we're gonna literally, like, we were in Paris. Oh, this is such a funny story, just to plug it in.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Bro, we get to Paris, and so we traveled around Europe for a bit, and then we get to Paris, and to get back to Bulgaria, I booked a flight, and I didn't realize it, but I booked the flight in the wrong goddamn city. So, and I noticed this at 9 p.m. at night. The freaking flight is 6 a.m. the next morning. Wow. It leaves. So we got to be there at like 5 a.m. And we have to, and it's over the next whole city. That's like going from Brisbane to like, it's like going from Gold Coast to like halfway to like New South Wales. It's like, it took 5 hours of buses to get there. So we had to leave at like 12 a.m. in the morning. We had 2 hours sleep. I'm realizing, I'm like, holy shit, this isn't good. Are we even going to be able to make it? This is 2 days from the Olympics happening in Paris. All the bus times are totally different.
Yeah.
It says that you may not even be able to get from one route to the next route. So complete faith. We leave at 12 a.m. in the morning, takes 5 hours to get there. We get there just in time to get on the airplane to make it back home. I had $800 in my bank account. That's not enough money to pay for another 2 night stay, even 1 night stay, 4 flights for both of us to get there.
Yep.
So meaning that if we didn't make it, we were stuck in Paris and I would have had to ask for my dad to get money somehow to, like, it would have been a whole situation.
Yeah.
Would have been really bad. And it would have been a run between my tail, between my legs, right? So all that happens. And so that was the handing over money. That was the part of the faith of like, God's going to have me. God's going to have me. I don't have to work this out. God's going to protect us. It's very interesting. It's a very murky water. Going, all right.
So we're in Paris. You have $800 in your bank account.
Yeah. And we just make it home.
And you said you booked the wrong fucking flight?
Yeah, the wrong city. Oh, and I realized literally like 8 hours before it leaves. No. And it's like middle of the night. Like, and we just like 4 days of pure travel, 2 days walking around Rome for 12 hours, 2 days walking around Paris for 12 hours.
So you were tired.
It's full on. Yeah, it was full on. And we had all our luggage with us. Like, we had to hunk it like, oh, bro, I can't believe we made it. I got there and I was like...
Can I just ask, like, I know it's a bit of a detail, but like, what's it like traveling the world?
Oh, man, it was very cool. We did it in a very specific way where we were not backpacking, rather we had a place and then we just like went from place to place. And we stayed like in one place for a while. So Bali, 2 months, Bulgaria for free. And then we traveled from Bulgaria to the places in Europe because Bulgaria is so close to everything. So it was awesome.
Bulgaria is in sort of Eastern Europe, Russia, right? Is it? Or no, where is it?
It's Romania and Greece. Greece is just underneath it. Romania is just above it. Croatia is right next to it.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, over on the east side, yes. East Europe. Yeah.
Cool. So you actually had a base there. So did you feel like you were sort of stable or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, stable. Yeah, exactly. We had some stability. It wasn't like pure traveling.
Yeah.
Because the purpose of going to Bulgaria was to train with the world's best at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like training, and then we did like 2 weeks, or a week of traveling to 2 weeks, and then we did a week of traveling. So we did like, yeah. Yeah, so it was good. It was really cool.
Awesome.
But it was a hell of it. I was literally watching the video this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe we did that. I have no idea how that even happened, how I made enough money to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah.
God had you.
Oh man, faith. Absolute faith. I knew God to some extent before doing it, but I knew we needed to take the opportunity because it was going to be once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, yeah, so, but the question, I think I can help flow it on. So going into Japan, so with the whole handing over money thing and all that, so I might want to just a tiny bit, sun's going to start creeping in right on me for some reason. So Japan, we literally got back from Japan with like $500 in our account.
Jesus.
Which is like $500, meaning that like between the two of us, that's not even enough for both of us to get back home from Japan. Man. So we just made it. And this is like after I've completely handed over my business and yeah. So anxiety had jumped at one stage. It jumped because I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have control over nothing of my business because I'm submitted all over, to like it slowly started decreasing because I wasn't focusing on my business anymore to that extent. I just let God do it. Meaning that I submitted and trusted that the money that we would need for what we need will be supplied.
Yeah.
And I had no like real like tangible, I don't know if this is going to work or not. And I did that while we were traveling the world, which is really messed up when you think about it. Cause like the amount of bad situations that can happen when you're traveling the world, it's like no stability, like no one to look after us or to get us home. Like there's a whole thing with it. So yeah, if I could do it then, and it proved and it actually be proven to be true, then yeah. And I had moments where a random person I never met gave me like, signed up and gives me $2,000, and that literally just gets us through Japan. Oh man, and I wasn't even trying. It was just really random things like that. Just I knew God would had me at so many moments.
Yes,
He proved it, and that's what helped me have faith.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it's not blind faith. It was like things happened and that allowed me to keep having faith. and it still does.
Perfect, man. That's perfect.
Yeah, and then I could tell you about what the moment of when actually my anxiety goes.
Tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the pinnacle. So all of this happens, and like we were talking about, like how much I had to hand over, and my whole life being like completely fear-inducing, not having enough, all this kind of stuff. Like life was really hard, and like it was a big weight on my shoulders to carry the whole world, and then we get to Sydney. I might just go fully in the sun, just because, might as well.
Yeah.
Not half. So then we get to Sydney, and Sydney, it's really funny because I won't tell the whole thing, but long story short, I get to Sydney, and 2 days after being in Sydney with my family, because what I believe is because when I met God, I met him in Bali, and I decided to create this whole trip without him. And so like that was self-created, that whole trip. So then once the trip had ended and we got into Sydney, every part of my life was no longer like self-created. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It was, so it was more so like you very much had a handle on everything.
And nothing in my life now I have control of. I'd gone to Sydney, and that mean the whole traveling thing was my idea and pushed and had faith in, but it wasn't created by God. And I got to Sydney, and I kid you not, 2 days like after being there, I realized something like really intense. I wake up one morning and I'm like, wait, hold on. And I break down crying. I just break down crying, and I hadn't cried, I don't know how long. But I break down like crying, and I was like, what is this? Like, what's going on right now? And I was like, why do I have so much peace? Why do I have so much peace? Like an amount of peace I'd never felt in my life. Like so much. I couldn't understand it. And about a week before that, I got delivered of fear, like of the spirit of fear, and that's a whole thing we could go into. But I was intuition with God. I knew what was going on, and there was this feeling like God was like trying to message me something, and then I fasted for 2 days, and I delivered myself of the spirit of fear, which was what we were just talking about, and I had that my entire life. And then I get to Sydney, and then all of a sudden, my brain is clear. My thoughts are clear. Like if I just like sat and stopped talking, there's no thoughts. It's silent. Complete stillness and calmness and peace for the first time in my life, randomly. And I was like, when I was just crying. Bailey was there, like, why are you crying? Are you okay? And I was just tears of peace. It was tears of like relief, rest.
So in your 20, was it 24 years?
23 up to that point, 22.
So in your years, is that the first time you actually felt you could breathe?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was this. I can't even put in the words, because the best part about this was, and it wasn't momentary peace. I think people can have momentary like releases like that, where you might be traveling and you get that momentary, and you come back to life, and your life's back to shit. You're back into anxiety. You're back into worry. You're back into like holding the world.
Yeah. I
kid you not. It has been almost a year. It's been 8 months, 9 months. And it still has not left me.
And you still have that peace, don't you? Yeah.
I can't be more serious than, if there's one thing in this life that is the most important thing you can have, it's peace.
Yeah. And I can back this up too, because when you actually like talk to me about like forgiveness, repentance in a way, that was the first time I actually felt peace, and I still to this day have it. And I feel like, you might even want to call it, but mate, I feel like you definitely passed that on to me as well in that sense. And now I have that clarity.
Yeah.
So I guess thank you for that, for sure, man.
Yeah. It's
I can back it up for sure.
It's such a. I had so many doubts in my walk with God. So many moments of like, is this really true? Like, is this really the right thing to be doing? Like. That like giving my life all the way up until that point, I became way more certain at that point, because something that I didn't think was possible, I didn't know it was that bad. One, I didn't know it was possible to be delivered from it. And I don't think anything can deliver you from that entirely. There's no drugs, there's no therapy, there's no thing under the sun that can actually give you this level of peace.
It's ultimately it's ultimately like a band-aid. It acts as something
exactly.
which momentarily just puts a plaster on it, but it's not the ultimate fix. It doesn't get into the root issue and remove it. So yeah, man, that's really, really cool.
And it's profound. It's a profound amount of peace. It's not peace that comes from me. That's really important for people to understand, that it's not self-created.
Yeah, it's not the higher self. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not even close. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
It was a denial of self. It came because I submitted my life over to God, and God then delivered me through faith. It was, it will be, if you believe in your heart and do not doubt, it will be added according to your faith.
Cool.
And I believed that that Jesus was the way, the truth, and the life, and he's known as the Prince of Peace, literally. And then I wasn't even asking for that. I had faith that this was the truth. I just didn't know why. And then when that happened, I was like, whoa. I was like, everything he taught me that entire time, like rest, patience, hand over, submit, get rid of money, stop watching this, stop watching that, like just completely handing over. And like I had enough faith, like I had enough evidence that this wasn't complete bullshit. Like I had some faith, about it being true, and that, his words were true, and the just life, just everything, putting it all together like a big puzzle piece. And I never thought that was possible, and I never asked for it. So I was never asking for peace. I never prayed for that. I just prayed that, he would show me the truth. The truth shall set you free.
And it did.
Oh, did it ever?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Like I've had times, like I was talking to one of my roommates, Jessica, mentioned how we've got like $50 in our account. And that's been like 4 weeks where we had no money for 4 weeks. And I still have more peace than when I had all the money, all the freedom, all the success, like profoundly more. I'm not just talking like more. I mean, like I can sit with myself no matter what circumstance and still have peace, which I don't understand. I do not understand it. I can't comprehend it. Like I try to understand everything. I can't. I just gave up at one point. Like I was like, why do I have peace in this situation right now? I should be like worried. Like I should have like fear. I should have like this drive of like this. People use fear as a driver to like as a fire underneath the arse. Problem is, once you get what you want, you no longer have that fire anymore, and so then you're always acting from fear and never actually having peace. But bro, like, oh man, I don't know how to explain that any better, because I can't. Because
you wouldn't also call that that peace, and you wouldn't call that peace and contentment. You wouldn't call that complacency, wouldn't you?
No, hell no.
Yeah.
No.
And why is that?
Because what it took to get there and to have that peace was continuous self-sacrifice, continuous self-denial. And that's still what it is. Because look, mind you, the reason I still have it now is because of my focus and my relationship with God, because that's what brought it. But if I was to take life into my own hands again and cut God out of it, it would come back. And I've had moments of it trying to come back, but the funny thing is it never comes from within me anymore. It's always a trying to come in, but it's so easy to block it because it's, the shield of salvation. Because of my salvation and because God saves me, I have peace.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not up to me anymore.
All right. Well, I'll kind of link this that peace to maybe like your once fear of persecution with this question.
Okay.
Do you trust God's voice enough to be wrong in the eyes of men, to lose your reputation, or to live misunderstood and alone?
That's what that's what it meant to hand over my life and give my life to God in the first place.
Yeah.
That's what I knew I was stepping into, because there's a scripture that comes to mind. Jesus says that those who love me will abide in me and follow my word, and it says that you will be persecuted because of me. You will be judged for my name, but do not, rejoice, for this is how the prophets before you were treated.
Yeah.
And so what that means is that, like, rejoice for when you're persecuted, because you will be. There's no doubt about that. And so I knew what I was signing up for. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Let's have a look. So, cool. So, yeah, that's awesome, man. I feel like I'm getting to know you just a lot more than 10 years.
Wow.
Fucking crazy.
Wow.
So, this journey of letting go, handing over, delivering yourself from fear and anxiety, you now have this peace. What has God called you to do?
I feel like what I thought he was calling me to do off the start and what he calls all of us to do are two separate things, but joined together, but also have a hierarchy of what's more important above the other, what feeds the other. And what I mean by that is, I didn't know at the start, really. I didn't really know at the start. Like, it was just faith that I knew that God would use me. It's one of the things, like surrender. Like, it's not me trying to work it out anymore. It's kind of like surrendering to instruction, to revelation, to,
Instruction.
Yeah,
Right.
it's instruction. And I would say that he ultimately, the two greatest, like the Pharisees and Sadducees, like asked Jesus, like the religious leaders of the time asked Jesus, what are the two greatest commandments? Jesus replies, the greatest commandment is to love God with all your mind, body, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as thyself. So it's to love God, and because God loves you unconditionally, you can love others unconditionally, and love people, and that's it. That's it. I had this revelation the other day. It's like, yeah, we can do all these things, but it's not our works that save us. It's not our works that give us peace. It's not our works that give freedom and all this kind of stuff, but rather the relationship with God. But the relationship with God is your relationship with love.
Your relationship with God is your relationship with love.
God is love. That's what it literally says in the Bible. God is love.
Beautiful. Well said, man. Well said. Oh my God. How do you know you're not building a religious identity the same way you've built your athletic one, something to master, control, and present to others, an ego self?
How do I know that this relationship with God and this journey isn't just about my own ego and isn't self-created in a way? There's a lot of I think there's a lot to that. Like there's a lot of puzzle pieces that I could pitch it out and then put the puzzle piece together, because ultimately that's what I would say. It's not one specific thing. It's rather a mountain of different things that have happened / like continue to happen. One is I think the biggest one is the when you give your life to God and you start reading the Gospels and you just start reading about Jesus' life and ministry, and it starts coming true in your life. And I think what I mean by that is things that I didn't believe could happen, happened. Things that I didn't quite literally take control of and handed over, come back. And what I mean by that is in my life, like prayer, surrender, and patience have been like the key things of everyday life for me. And so when I'm walking through this life now, I was actually talking about this with Bailey before. When I'm walking through this life, my perspective and view and framework of life is so different to what it was before. So different. And the difference is faith. It's that lens of faith. And again, what I mean by that, as I keep going deeper through this, is things are coming true in my life and are happening to me without me being a part of it. My life is happening to me, and it's coming, like, it's like I'm giving it over, and then it's returning without me actually building it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, cool, here's all the Lego pieces, and then the construction gets built, and then the construction comes back to me, built. How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. How does it get built without me? I'm the only person who can put it together. But no, my life is actually building without me having to build it. And I mean by that, like, the love, the peace, the direction, the fulfillment, all of it, like my relationship with my wife, it's like all of it. It's like I'm not doing anything. It's really weird.
And it kind of goes into I guess your main purpose of wanting to help people too.
Yeah.
And I guess I kind of see your point now, why you feel so passionate about wanting to share the gospel, why you want to evangelize. But yeah, what did it, like, your calling to evangelize now? Tell us how that kind of grew.
I mean, like, I wouldn't even call myself an evangelist yet anyway. Not like a hardcore one, that's for sure. But I think honestly, there was this dream I had. It's funny because, like, Toby's had, like, 12, 15 Jesus dreams, like really intense ones, meeting him, talking to him for 5 hours. I met Jesus for 4 seconds in one dream over the past of a year and a half. Like, it's crazy. So my thing, I had this dream where I died and I saw the whole world, and all these, like, yellow orbs coming out of it and going into this big golden light, like pure light. And then I'm like, I knew who that was because I knew Jesus to be pure light. Like, I know that. And I was like, that's Jesus. I was like, Jesus, take me with you. And I get shot into this orb of light, and I see all these souls coming to it, all those, like, little bits of yellow going into a big yellow light. And I go into it and I see Jesus there for 4 seconds. And I'm just like, whatever you want me to do, Lord, just send me, just tell me what to do. He says nothing, and then he shoots me into the body, into a celestial, like, body outline in the stars, and then I fix a part of it and it's, like, healed. And I know that to be not an evangelism, maybe a healing for the body of Christ specifically. I think that's one of my biggest callings, is to be a teacher.
The body of Christ meaning people?
Yeah,
society.
The body of Christ, the church, but, like, the body of Christ, like, and also, and I think people would like to add to the body of Christ, because as you add more to it, it gets healthier. That more reproducing of new cells you have, the healthier your body is.
Yeah.
And then I also just had a dream literally like 3 nights ago of, like, me evangelizing, and it was the most real dream I've ever had in my life. It was so crazy, ridiculously vivid. And I got up on top of a pool table and I was like, hey guys, I just want to let everyone know I follow the one true God. I used to have serious anxiety and depression in my entire life, and he saved me. And if you're ever feeling alone or need help, you can call out on the Lord and he will come to you. And I was like, and then I stepped down, and then some people clapped, some people just ignored me, and some people, like, needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Some people like that might have saved their life. Like, that might have been the difference. So anyway, so yeah,
it's weird that I had something about that too. Like, as in, like, I had the dream of the vision of giving an Oscar, and then I said the exact same thing as you did. Not depression, but I just said, hey, I'm going to worship God for all this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's cool.
So yeah, and honestly, that comes from the big thing was when I came out of that, like, when I died and I saw God, I was like, imagine not being able to call on him when you die. And you become separated from him for the rest of eternity. I was like, oh my God.
So that leads to my next question here. So what scares you more? God's silence or what he might actually ask you to do next?
Yeah, separation.
I
think that's the scariest thing. And it's not even like separation in terms of, like, the fact that we'll suffer. In that, but because suffering, like, that suffering itself actually is, like, not being with God. I believe, like, I suffer for a totally different reason now. Like, I don't actually suffer, but my life is like, the suffering has way more meaning and purpose to the suffering. So therefore the suffering isn't really even suffering anymore. It's purposeful. So it's actually good. So anyway, but when you die, that silence from God. So what was your question again? Just one more time.
So what scares you more? God's silence, or what he might actually ask you to do next?
No, it's the silence for sure.
Silence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Which is like, you could go into why.
Yeah.
I think just a quick reason why is because life comes from God, therefore life is with God.
Mm-hmm.
So without God, there is no life. There is no living.
Yeah. There's no life. Oh, there's no love, sorry. Yeah.
That too.
Cool. I guess that's pretty good because we've answered all these questions in your way. It's amazing actually. Okay, I guess I do have something about the devil in a sense here too. But I actually want to get back into your calling to be a healer as well. But I'll start with the devil ones. So have you ever considered that some of your coincidences might truly be deceptions to false security?
I might want to ask for an example, but coincidences like yeah.
So
I know
like
what you're saying.
yeah, so like the fears that that led you to Christ.
Any weird spiritual thing that's happened
Yeah.
that's like, oh well, that's like the coincidence is like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would just say that the coincidences that have happened, I don't put every single weird coincidence into the category of spirituality, into the spiritual world, that it's all like everything and always God designed. I think some things just happen as a like an order of like, you know, just to discern what is from, you know, just happens to God to like evil, to demonic and devil.
Okay.
So I would say that not everything is like some things are just coincidental, but the things that I believed that was because it's almost like prophecy, meaning that like God will show me something and do like something will happen way back here, and then this happens like way later or like later on, and you're like, oh whoa.
So how would you discern the difference between a demonic voice and God's voice in your way?
Yeah. There's I think the way I like to answer this the best, and I'd wrestled this for so long, because I'm like, how are you supposed to tell? Because it literally comes as still voice inside your head. But one of the big things is that when you give your life, you're reborn and you die to yourself, baptized in water, come revised in the spirit, meaning that like then the Holy Spirit, Jesus' spirit, comes in and lives within inside you. This then becomes like your helper. That's what he literally says. Like, I'm going to die and go away so that I can send the comforter and the helper to you. The counselor. He's what helps you discern. So there's this weird thing that you will never understand unless you give your life to Christ, that you then actually get a spirit that helps you discern. So that's one thing. That's one really big thing, because then, yeah, that's the biggest thing. You can't discern without that. You cannot. It's impossible, because you don't have the Spirit of God. You don't have that which is good.
Okay.
So the other thing is
So what does that look like practically?
Yeah. So the other thing is Jesus says that he says that my sheep know my voice. And what that means is kind of just like the dream that you had, is that he whistles a tune and he sings, and his sheep know him, not by looking at him and every direction he goes, but rather just hearing his voice. And I literally hear the voice of God. This is the way I see it. I don't get as many pictures and visions and dreams as you. I hear the voice of God. And there have been times where I've been wrong. There have been a lot of times where I've heard things from God that make no sense. I cannot guess that, and then it happens. And so like hearing, like it's almost like a practice. It's almost like a muscle. It's like the more you practice, like, okay, like where the radio, would you say, the receiver, and God is the sender.
Yeah.
And so as the receiver, you have to turn on your receiver to receive the message or receive revelation or receive the sound. And so the more you do that, the better you get at knowing what frequency to hear that message from. That's the way I would explain it.
That's a cool way to explain it.
Yeah. And so God, like Jesus says, my sheep will know my voice. If you do not know my voice, you are not of my sheep. And so I know, I was like, okay, that's a really cool way of saying that we receive and hear the voice of God but that comes through submitting and practicing the faith.
It comes from also listening as well, doesn't
and
it?
it also comes from learning the word. The word is also known as a sword, meaning that you can defend, because when Jesus gets the Holy Spirit, he's then led into the desert. In the desert, he's tempted by Satan. So the Spirit leads him in, and the Satan's like, turn, if you're the Son of God, turn this stone into bread and eat. And he's like, no, it is written. So he uses scripture to defend and discern the voice of God and Satan. So he's like, no, that's not what God says through scripture. And so knowing scripture, that's one lens. So if it's completely contradictory to scripture, it's probably not God. Like 99.9% of the time. Very much probably 100% of the time, to be fair. So scripture, learning the voice of God, practicing in prayer, being in his presence, going to church, like being in the presence of God, you learn the difference. It's like, if I spend every day with you, I'm going to know the difference between you and another Balinese dude by your voice. Just by your voice, meaning that, like, if I close my eyes and talk to you every day, I know your voice for after like time. And then if I went and talked to someone else, I'm like, oh, you don't sound like Toby. So that thing, that's also another part of that. And then what was it? And there was one more. It was the first thing I said. But you get the point. You get what I'm trying to say.
The radio frequency.
The radio frequency, that's kind of the same thing as
that.
But you know what I'm saying.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you kind of you found that discernment between listening to God's word or a demon's word, whatever. Awesome. And so now that you have, because you talk a lot about like purpose, meaning and purpose. 10 years that we know each other, that's been your biggest thing throughout before Jesus was a purpose of life, a beauty of life, or a meaning of life.
Direction.
Do you feel like what do you feel like your purpose is now?
It's relationship with God.
Relationship
with God. Something I knew when I met God, but at the same time, like, that can get distorted so easily. What does it mean to have a relationship with God? To serve. Exactly. Yeah, and that's the byproduct of it.
Right.
But we serve because of our relationship with God.
And what does that look like? So if you're having a relationship with God, he's coming through you, and something's coming out as well. What are you looking to do? Like, practically, what does that look like?
Like it said, love God, love your neighbor.
Yeah.
So the question is, how can you love your neighbor? How can you serve? Well, God really does lay this out. He says, if you love me, you will follow my commandments, and you will abide in my word. And he said to me one day that it is not you who serves anymore, but that Christ that lives within you. That literally, and it's also what that says in Romans. It is not you who lives anymore, but that Christ that lives within you. So the things that you do are not even you anymore. Because what you did before you had the Spirit of Christ come into you was sin.
So you want to bring people closer to God? Is that your whole thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's ultimately, I mean, like, the love that I have now isn't from me, it's love from God.
Okay.
So you could say if that heals, that can heal people. Love brings healing, but it also can bring them closer to God through that.
Okay, cool. So if a man were to look at you for guidance, would he look away? Would he walk away closer to Christ, or be impressed by your brand, by your messaging?
I think that, I mean, look at the journey and what happened to Jesus. Jesus was the Son of God. He was sinless. He spoke truth perfectly. There's no one denies that.
Yeah.
But his even he was. It's like what you said. Plato, was it Plato? Who predicted? He said that if a perfect man entered this world and was sinless, 300 years, he wrote this like a
So
Roman.
this is 345 BC.
Yeah,
BC,
before Christ.
Before Christ.
Yeah, before
and his word,
Jesus.
I remember what his words were, if a perfect moral man were to exist in this time, he would be crucified and put to death.
Yeah. 345 years later, we have the Son of God come down, live a perfect life, and get crucified and criminalized for it. So how much more will will that happen to
Yeah.
us?
And it's funny because Stoicism, I guess, is how I kind of, I would say, literacy wise, is how I kind of came to digest the Bible.
Yeah.
And the one cool thing that I found between Stoicism is that it leads into Christianity. And how that's explained is, I think, in a verse somewhere that like Stoicism says, it says that Stoicism is more so like you're refining yourself in a way. You're
Yep.
kind of like refining yourself to listen,
Yep. Yep.
to be open and be sensitive.
Yep.
But then Christianity was more so, okay, now this is the next step of actually learning how to be in unison with God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it literally perfectly like works together in my eyes.
Yeah.
And how I read it.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a little cool plug in there. Stoicism, Christianity, they kind of have this cool mix together.
Oh, they do for sure.
That's awesome, man. I feel like I've got everything I need to take away, but is there anything that you wanted to address before we leave? Any
feel like
final words?
There might have been like one little point on that. What was the question again? That was specifically why.
If a man were to look at you for guidance, would he be impressed? Would he be closer to Christ?
Yeah.
Or would he be impressed by your brand,
Yeah,
and by your
yeah,
voice?
yeah.
Like for example, like if you would become a pastor or something, would he fall in love with you as a pastor, but not God?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was the prayer I literally said just before this podcast, was that everything is because of God in my life. So this is one of the biggest a really big realization, which actually led me to the dream, which I think that brought me closer to God to some degree, was this because there was a repentance. What brings us close to God is repentance, turning from our own understanding and our own life to looking at his ways and what he has for us. So repentance is just changing your mind. That's repentanoia. That's what it literally means, just to change your mind and to be like, okay, God, like, not my truth or my will be done, but thy will be done. Yeah. And so like, that's what I literally like realized the other day, was that everything that is good in my life has come from God and from faith in God, through faith only. Everything that I've tried to control in my life has brought fear, has brought uncertainty, has brought I need to control, a having to like work out, and it's just always this struggle and this clench. I have to clench everything. But now, because everything is surrendered to God,
and so you give that glory to God.
I give exactly his name. I give glory to God, and the reason we give glory and worship God is because God is the only thing that is good in my life at the moment. It's the thing that actually gives life to everything else. It's not that like my wife is bad, or that my career is bad, or that sex is bad. It's rather that God knows the purpose, because he was the designer and the creator, that he foreknows the purpose and design and intention for it. And so aligning with him and what he created it for helps you align with what it's actually supposed to be. Therefore, you reap the fruits of the actual creation of what it was for. If you go like, it's like if you got a wave, right? That's what it comes to me. I think God just gave me this. We can end on this too. Yeah. It's like a wave. If you're a surfer, and everyone understands this, right? Waves roll towards the beach. If you were like, no, I believe waves go towards the sea, how much sense does that make?
I don't quite.
How are you going to catch a wave trying to catch it going the opposite way? Waves always roll towards the ocean. Towards the sand.
Yeah.
If you were always facing the waves and you're trying to catch the waves and trying to catch them out to the ocean, how are you ever going to catch a wave? You're always going to be fighting against the waves. The wave was designed to go one direction, to go this way. So if you don't submit to the idea that everything has intention and has an original purpose, the wave original purpose and direction and intention is to go towards the beach. If I'm like, no, I think the waves should go this way, and then you just keep trying to catch waves going the opposite way, you're never going to catch the wave. You're always going to be fighting. You're going to be confused. You're always going to be like, you know what I mean? You're never going to enjoy life. You're never going to catch the wave. And so I believe, like, in a real basic idea, that life is the same way, that sex has intention, money has intention, relationship has intention. It all has an original purpose.
Yeah.
God created it. God knows the original purpose for everything. We can be like, oh, you're born male, and you're like, no, I'm a female. And then you go against the wave. You go against the grain of what you were, like what originally was designed, what was originally purposed. Same thing with money. Like it's like, or with sex. Like sex isn't bad.
Yeah.
It's like you can abuse it.
Then leads to abortions.
Yeah,
And leads to all that
exactly.
stuff. Yeah,
Relationship with your wife isn't bad, but when you place your wife as the thing that is the only thing that matters in your entire life, that can demonize everything else. It's like it's not bad. It's just it's not the original design of all of it. It's not the original purpose. Your wife wasn't made to be worshipped.
Okay.
Your wife was made that you like. Yeah.
So okay, cool. So you say it's about the abuse. Of
Yeah,
things, right?
the abuse.
I guess I can. That's probably my
Or
last question.
the wrong in like you creating your own intention and understanding of what that thing is supposed to be.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
create your own understanding of it instead of what it was actually made for.
I was gonna say, say if someone who's not Christian and very much is living in that, he knows he's living in a very bad or sinful way, but he knows about balance. He knows how to control himself. What do you think is more important, intention or balance?
I think that that's an illusion.
Balance.
Thinking that you know balance.
Right.
You only know balance through your own, like everyone only knows things through their own perspective. And I think that our own perspective I think we all agreed our own perspective of our experience of life and what we know is this. It's like this, right? It's this.
But that guy's experienced life in a way.
Yeah.
So he's maybe been hurt by abusing his desire in some way.
Yeah.
Is it an illusion?
You could say, well, his perspective of what he gets from it very well probably is.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is like the only way we can truly know truth is through God's word, because God created. His perspective may be true that when he was abused, that means I should not abuse in this way. But that may be a very tiny perspective or a partial truth. It doesn't make it completely untrue, rather that it's a partial truth that isn't completely true, which then allows for room for evil mistakes, the same mistake to happen, for the cycle to repeat. So it's like with, I'm just going to take a friend of mine, Lachlan, for instance. His dad was a drunk, an abuser of alcohol. Right, and there's maybe 1,000 different, maybe millions of different perspectives you could take from that experience of one thing. Like you experience, your dad, beating you up or whatever, and so therefore you're like, I'm never going to treat my kids like that. But that itself may come with another underlying message of never, being too soft. So there's these playoffs. It's like one belief gives birth to another belief.
Yeah, everyone has a chain. Exactly.
I just got it.
That's why I made the chain.
The chain.
Yeah.
So the
Episode 7.
The trauma, your dad beating you up leads to, okay, the first thing's like, I'm never gonna abuse anyone, and then therefore you never discipline your kids.
Yeah.
Therefore you don't know what real love is.
Yeah, that's
therefore,
it. Because the foundation is purely based on what had happened to you in your past, but the foundation needs to be made anew in order for it to be free. Yeah, and that's pretty much why I made episode 7.
and the thing is, we can't rewrite that.
Yeah,
which is it's hard to say that, because like I would hope that was true for me, but try and fix anything in your life and see how long that lasts.
Well, the thing is, like, Satan always tries to put you down with your past.
Yeah.
But then the key thing with, like, to fight him is, like, you have to remind Satan of his future.
Yeah.
As well.
Yep. yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like, I guess to finish this off, guys, great episode. I think it was awesome.
Is that good?
The best episode I had with you, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Learned so much about you. Things in 10 years of friendship, I think this is like where I kind of got a little bit more deeper as well. Good stuff. Yeah, I guess I want to ask, like, yeah, what's your, if you want to give a prophetic word or like a, I guess, word of advice, what would you like to say to anyone just listening to this episode about what's your key takeaways from this?
I think everyone, like I mentioned at the start, everyone has this part of them, and like I mentioned, I had this, that I hope that the truth would set you free, that the truth would bring beauty, would bring clarity, certainty, and beauty into your life, and that the truth is that. So if atheism was true, it doesn't actually give you any answers. If being agnostic was true, it actually leaves you trying to answer everything on your own. If God is true, then we have all the answers, and we have an all-loving, all-knowing, guiding Father. You don't have to figure it out. You can just get to experience fully. You get to rest. But at the same time, you get to partner with him and actually be able to live in a full, peace, loving, meaning and purposeful, directional path in life. And like I said, atheism doesn't give you any answers. It actually says that free will doesn't exist, meaning you don't actually have a choice because everything was already predetermined by your biological evolution. So there is no free will, ultimately. And agnosticism just means that you don't know and you're always searching. God gives you the answers, and he fills something in that you didn't know that you were missing, that little like black hole in your heart, that like deep down part of you that everyone's like, you know, that dark part of your soul that's like the black hole that never gets filled by sex or money and lust and love. Gets filled. That's the puzzle piece that's missing, is God. And if you're...
And he's talking about the peace that you get, guys. So we both experience it personally in our own different way. But yeah, peace
is what you get. And that's it's like a knowing without knowing. Because you can't comprehend everything because we're finite, but God can, and therefore he can impart that on you through that, and you can have faith that he's guiding you, the all-knowing, all-loving. And I just say that if you're even a little bit like open, meaning that you're not ignorant enough and naive enough to be like, oh no, I know there's no God, because I don't think anyone can even prove there is no God. I don't think that exists. I think just be open to listening to truth, to the path, and open to faith, and being like, I don't know everything. I'm open to just listening and learning. And to just take your own journey with it. I did. My whole journey was, is this true? What is true? What is truth? Just asking all these questions. Just be a honest, genuine, authentic skeptic, and just allow for the answers to lead where you want. And I highly, highly believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes through the Father except through him. Jesus' word, not mine.
Send that, bro.
End it there.
Awesome, man. Godcast episode 11. Something. Thank you so much, bro.
You look great on me, and I'ma give it right back, baby. Pay it all for it. All of these blessings, all of these chores, rather follow his word than follow my sword. This is a war we cannot afford, Lord. Pray for the kids growing up in the matrix, slain to the vid, showing up in the playlist. Teachers ain't paid near enough to erase it. Preachers just wanna get paid.